Hi students, I'm really happy you're in my class and I'm looking forward to our semester together. Today I have two goals of my lecture. One is a brief overview of Antigone and the second is a explanation of the syllabus. So what do I want to do? I guess the first thing I want to do is to offer you some guidance on reading Antigone. Creon is going to be this figure who represents the rule of law, but the rule of human law. The distinction Antigone is making is that there's another law, a moral law, that can be found by reason in nature. And the idea is that when the human law contradicts that higher law, you don't have to follow it. So she's being asked to not bury her brother. In the ancient world, that is the ultimate disgrace, and it has implications for what his afterlife will be like. She decides that this is a law that she doesn't have to obey because it's in conflict with the moral law. Today is Martin Luther King Jr.'s national holiday, and so it's actually kind of appropriate that we're talking about this. Another thing to be sensitive to is the role that roles play. So Creon feels he has a certain role as the king. Ismene is thinking she has a certain role as a sister. Antigone thinks there's a different role as a sister. And these roles sort of bind them to an understanding of justice and of what they should do. And this sets the sort of stage for conflict. Now, Creon, of course, thinks he's doing what he has to do to preserve the city. But as his son tries to point out to him, he's gone too far. And he realizes as things continue that he is going too far. But he's sort of buckling down on what he's said because he doesn't want to be challenged. And in this sense, he's no longer listening to guidance. So I think, what I want you to do this week is to become accustomed to the kinds of reading that you're doing. It's a different world. It's a different time. And when you're reading, some of that can feel overwhelming, maybe a little different, but it can also be exciting. And if you have particular questions, you should come to me. I think the more that time goes on, the more you will feel like this is second nature to you. Every week, you're going to be responsible for writing a short essay. It's a weekly essay. And I think this will help you improve your writing. That's one of the goals of this class, according to the registrar. And what I'm looking for here is you really spending time with the question that I choose for you each week, looking to the text to try to find an answer, and sort of putting your own spin on it. I offer a writing rubric that I think will help you. As time goes on, these will become easier for you to do. I'm not looking for perfection here. What I'm looking for is effort. I want them turned in on time, and I want them to have content of you really struggling with the question. There's not a right answer in this kind of thing. But what you do need to have is proof. And so that's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to think. I put warnings in the syllabus about not using your grade book as a way to calculate your grade, but instead just getting your grade value and then hand calculating it. That's just a warning. I encourage you to email me really at any time that you have a question. Communication is really important in an online class, especially a class like ours, which is asynchronous. Asynchronous means I put all the content on at once and you kind of complete it as you go. I will provide lectures and in some cases PowerPoints for you to be able to do that. And you can be responsive with me about what isn't making sense to you. I think it's important to know that you'll get better as things go along at feeling like this is more natural. If you're having any sort of problem, whether you're feeling confused or uncertain, or you have a personal problem that's getting in the way of your work, let me know right away when you're struggling. Right away. We can face it together if you let me know right away. The temptation in an online class is that you just kind of let it go because we're not seeing each other face to face. And we need to be able to make that contact so we can work through it and it won't get away from us. There's a list of required texts for you. I tried to put as many of the texts as possible on your resources tab so that you don't have to buy them. Each week, I'll try to give you a sense of how to read. Your concluding task will be to analyze a movie through the lens of ancient thought. And as that time comes closer, and as the time for the the interpretive essays comes to us, I will put down a list of requirements and directions for how I want you to complete that assignment. So that brings me lastly to the assignment breakdown. It's pretty straightforward. You're going to be doing really simple I guess you might say, not simple in content, but hopefully straightforward. You'll have 2 reflection essays, which are interpretive. You'll have your weekly essays, and you have Augustine and the Mission interpretive essay. The 2 reflection/interpretive essays are both 20% a piece. They're 5 to 7 pages. I'll give you a handout at the appropriate time. The times are listed in the syllabus. The interpretive essay of the Mission is also going to be one where you rely on a handout for directions. And the weekly essay is just very straightforward, 500 words, citing sources appropriately. So I think that you're going to do great. I really hope, my best advice is to communicate with me and to stay on track. And so check out your modules every week, compare it to the syllabus, you find your content there, and you can learn as you go.